everything. We have a guest here from Orbit Energy and Power. They do quite a bit to help you out in your home. With us is Andre Mandarino. He's general manager of Orbit Water Solutions. Good morning, Andre. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing very well. Very happy to be on the show today.
Oh, we're happy to have you. So, Andre, for those that are watching this interview, where are you coming to us from? Because it seems like you're orbiting the Earth.
Yes. No, I'm actually coming from Wilmington, Delaware right now. This is my hometown. This is where I'm from.
Very good. So, Andre, how long have you been with Orbit Energy and Power? And then describe to us your role at the company.
Sure. So I've been with Orbit for 2 years now, and the route that I took to get to this company is pretty interesting. I've been doing water treatment for about 10 years now. It's basically what I've been doing straight out of college. And I've gone through a couple different companies. First, kind of being the person that would come out to your home to test your water. And then I would move on to more managerial roles, helping start a lot of water filtration sectors for other companies. And then I met Orbit and met Sean, the president of the company, and just heard his big plans for what he wanted to do for the world. It's really cool what he has in store and the way that he wants to help homeowners out with whatever asset they may need. And so what I do for the company now is I basically just instill what I've been learning over the last 10 years in water, helping educate a lot of our employees in how to do everything correctly, how to appropriately educate someone about water. So I kind of do a little bit of everything for the company, but the most important thing is helping out the employees learn to be essentially a water expert and an educator.
So, Andre, why might our listeners who are homeowners need water purification?
That's a great question. A lot of people are under the assumption that, hey, I have city water, it's under these, strict regulations. What should I be worried about? And that's obviously a fair point. If you have city water, your water is being treated. But I usually just sum it up with a pretty quick statement in that all of the laws that our water is governed by, which is done by the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, was all established in 1974. There has essentially been zero updates to it. No new science has been applied to these regulations. A lot of the science that went in back in the 70s, we've made tremendous progression on. We know now in 2020 that a lot of that science that was being done in the 70s was just old and outdated. It's not really accurate. There's only 91 chemicals that your water municipal company, no matter where you live in the United States, there's only 91 chemicals that are being monitored for. And we know there's a lot more in our environment, getting into the ground, getting into that groundwater. So, the treatment process, what they're doing the best they can. Money and politics and technology plays a big role into what a water municipal company can and can't do. But it's very important for homeowners to kind of take it upon themselves to make sure that the water entering their home is completely clean, having it tested, making sure that they're doing current scientific approaches to making sure the water is correct, and not relying on that older science that our water municipal companies are regulated on. They're doing the best they can with the budgets that are given to them, but sometimes just a little bit more is required to make sure that everything's completely safe.
So, Andre, what's the difference between soft and hard water? It's important to know that difference.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're talking a night and day difference when you're talking about the difference between hard and soft water. For starters, hard water is referring to a specific mineral in the water, and that's calcium. You heard that there's a lot of limestone in the ground in a lot of areas. This limestone contains a lot of calcium. So when that calcium gets into the water, you now have something in the water that doesn't stay dissolved in the water very well. Something like potassium or sodium, these other minerals, they stay dissolved in the water. They're not going to be an issue. But calcium, it likes to calcify. It likes to crust. It likes to harden. So it basically is like, imagine a glass of water with a ton of particles floating around, just a bunch of dirt and rock floating around. Hard water just leaves a bunch of calcium on everything. And, that's obviously inside of our pipes, inside of our appliances. But for some people with sensitive skin, it's on your skin, it's on your hair. And this can, again, be that night and day difference as to what a shower experience is going to be like. Soft water is, again, water without any of this stuff in there. Now imagine a glass of water with nothing floating around. This is obviously going to be a lot easier on skin, a lot easier on hair. We have some amazing testimonials from our customers about what's happened to their eczema, their psoriasis, their rashes, their dermatitis, and then even things like just the way their hair feels and looks. I mean, they're telling me that they're no longer having to buy all these expensive products to combat their water. Now their hair and skin looks better than ever before. I mean, I can just go on and on about how our clothes, our laundry, there's almost a night and day difference there when you're cleaning it with this, again, this water that doesn't have all of these things floating around in it. And, again, you pour a glass of water at your house, you look into it, you don't see anything. But then you look at your shower head, and after, about a few weeks of using it, there's just all this kind of gunk all over the shower head, the head of it, and the faucet as well. And you're thinking, what is leaving all this? Again, calcium, it's just absolutely filled in this water, and it's leaving these deposits on everything that it touches. So there really is such a tremendous difference.
I can hear our listeners running to the sink to get a cup, and then also going to the shower to check their faucet to see if there's calcium there. So you're definitely making us think about some different things. Andre, walk us through the process for homeowners that are interested in getting a water purification system.
Sure. The first thing, the most important thing, is to get the water tested. You want a licensed technician to come out and do a thorough water test. They're going to test for about 8 to 10 different contaminants. They're going to find out exact levels of hardness, of iron. They're going to want to find out your pH, fertilizer levels, and not just getting that water tested, but you're going to want a licensed technician to come out and do a little bit of an inspection on the home. Sometimes you may see a little bit of this green staining on your copper pipes, and you'll think, oh, that's just what the copper's doing. But that's actually a sign of oxidation to that copper. And that's usually the result of something in that water essentially eating through that pipe. So our licensed technicians, they come out and they do a nice inspection on the home. They'll pinpoint to you where these pin-sized holes may be starting to appear. It's really a great way to just get a head start on issues that might be down the line from the water. We'll be able to drain that water heater to make sure there's not too much calcium inside of it. There's really all kinds of things that our technicians come in and investigate and really get a good picture as to what's going on in that home. And it's really different from house to house, even in a neighborhood. Water usage, family size, amounts of appliances that are being used. These are all variables that will have a lot to do with what's going on in that house. So just to answer that question, first and foremost, you want to get a test done and you want to see exactly what the water and how the water is playing a role in that home. So then you can appropriately be recommended a specific system.
Very good. So Andre, why should people choose Orbit Energy and Power for water purification services?
Sure. So the team behind Orbit Energy and Power, and specifically the team behind our water division, we have over 30 years of water treatment experience. We have gone from many companies, some these humongous conglomerate companies, some much smaller, and we've seen essentially the good in some of these, and we've seen the mistakes that have made. And what we're doing now at Orbit is we're making sure to maximize all of the benefits, all of the great things that come from water, and absolutely minimize or completely exempt any of these mistakes. So, the first way I would answer that question is there's a team of experts here at Orbit, and we want to make sure that everything that we do for the customer is to keep them ecstatic. We bend over backwards for the customer. So I think a simple answer would be customer service. Orbit Energy and Power, we pride ourselves on making sure that every customer is extremely happy with not just the system and the way that it's worked, but just from the very beginning, when they first made that first phone call to figure out what was going on with the water test, to the installation process and how thorough they were, to the way that we properly maintain the system for the customer. I mean, not to give away too many secrets about what we're doing, but we make it so that if a customer wants to have a lifetime of clean water from Orbit, they don't worry about a single thing. We take care of everything. There is not a single thing that they have to do. They're not lifting up any bags of salt. They're not cleaning this. They're not worrying about every 6 months, 8 months, this. Everything is taken care of by Orbit. It is a pretty simple process. We just want to make sure that for the rest of your life, your family is drinking and bathing in healthy, clean water.
That is so cool to hear. So, Andre, as we like to end all of our interviews here on Pop FM, we pride ourselves on being positive and encouraging. So what positive words of encouragement could you share with our listeners, especially during these trying times?
Absolutely. You know, all I can tell you is that over here at Orbit, you know, we have not been, you know, we've definitely been impacted by what's been going on, just like everybody else. But we've kept the mentality that, you know, we want to help homeowners out in any way, shape, or form. We want to continue what we've established here, even though, you know, everything around us is saying, you know, this is not a good time to do this. You shouldn't do that. You know, just with that mentality, we want to kind of express that to everybody else, that if everything's telling you right now it's not working, this isn't right, you know, just keep pushing forward with what you believe. You know, if you believe in helping people, if you believe in the power of positivity, continue that going. And that's what's kept us going. And we are very happy to report that, you know, that positivity, that power that we've been pushing has been really helping us, our company, and we've been seeing tremendous progression. You know, as far as water goes, for anyone there who is really trying to get a grip on their health and really turn things around, I couldn't think of a better way to start than focusing on that water, focusing on the water you're drinking and bathing in, and really you can see your life take off from there.
Well, Andre, we want to thank you for taking the time to us and our listeners about water purification. Thank you for what you do. And we truly appreciate you, Sean, and the whole team there at Orbit Energy and Power, and for partnering with us to spread the positivity all throughout our listening area.
Well, you're very welcome. And thank you so much for having me on the show. I had a great time chatting with you guys. And I really love what you guys are doing here with this you know, podcast, or with this radio show, being productive and being positive. And I really think it's an amazing thing. And I can't wait to see you guys just get bigger and bigger and really spread this positivity around to the whole country.
Oh, thank you so much, Andre. Before we go, would you rather sleepwalk every night or sleep talk every night?
Oh. Wow, that's a good one. I think I'm definitely going to go with sleep talk every night, just because, you know, I'll have the person sleeping next to me, my significant other, will have to deal with that. But the sleepwalking scares me a little bit. Who knows what I'll be getting into, where I'll be walking to. Yeah, so sleep talk for sure.
All right, we will add that to the vote count. Andre, thanks so much again. We'll talk with you soon.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, Yamira, before we go off to a break here, we want to remind our listeners that coming up next Thursday, we're going to meet our next nonprofit organization of the week.
That's right. Our special guest will be Kathy McGuire, president and founder of New Jersey Aid for Animals. This nonprofit organization provides programs for domestic animals on wellness, humane education, spay and neuter, with a focus on impoverished, report abuse and pursue justice for abused animals. Visit njafa.org for more information.
And that nonprofit interview will be brought to you by the Nonprofit Development Center of Southern New Jersey, building a better community by helping all the region's nonprofit organizations do what they each do better. When we come back, we have some trending stories from our news affiliate CBS, all that and more on Pop FM 99.9, Power of Positivity.
Your drinking water is no place for harsh chemicals or metals. Enjoy soft